Happy Money Making Monday to everybody out there in YouTube land. My name is CJ Curry. We're back talking more NBA player props. Hope everybody out there had a fantastic weekend and you made some money. If you're new to the channel and you've never subscribed before, subscribe now because we are on the brink of a major milestone. We're only less than 10 subscribers away from hitting 30,000 subs here on the channel. If you're not subscribed, please get subscribed. Let's go over 29,999.5 subs. I'm taking the over. I think we get it done today. Today's the day. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a like as well. The likes help get the videos out to more people. By getting the videos out to more people, we get more subscribers here on the channel. So appreciate all the love and support with those likes. Now, me and myself and the Dub Club community had a fantastic Sunday. We landed on a big one, let's just say. I sent this 6-pick flex slip out to Dub Club members. And if you tailed, you absolutely crushed it along with me. 25 times your money. Right here, I turned $45 into $1,125 by taking a lot of player fantasy scores for NFL like Jared Goff, Devon Achane, Trey McBride. I took the over on his receiving targets, but he could have went over his fantasy score too. Either way you pick Trey McBride, he had a big game. Stephon Diggs over fantasy score, Khalil Shakir over fantasy score, and Emeka Egbuka over fantasy score. All these guys cash. So yeah, awesome things going on inside of Dub Club. Of course, I also sent out another 2x slip later on in the night. You don't have to be out in the cold. You could be a part of the Dub Club for as little as $10 on your first month. I keep opening up more spots, more discount codes, in other words, for people who want to join the Dub Club. And you guys keep filling them up. So if you keep filling up these vacant spots, I'm going to keep opening more spots so that you can get in for as little as possible. $10 a month is super cheap. It comes out to about 30 to 35 cents per day. That's like $2.50 per week, gang. For all the picks, plays, parlays, you get a VIP Discord. You get helpful stats and information shared to that Discord each and every day, and you get more slips from other people inside of the community, like our guy Space Jam and our other guy Lido, who's tackling the NHL props. He hit a 3 out of 3 pick 6x slip for NHL. Anyway, link down in the description if you want to join the Dub Club. Highly recommend it. It's a great way for you to tap in with a family-friendly community with a bunch of like-minded individuals who are just trying to win more together. All right, so pretty big NBA slate for Monday. The only issue is there is a ton of pending NBA injury news. And so I tried my best to kind of navigate around these murky waters. Some of this injury news, we don't know if these guys are going to play, not play, and they're pretty impactful names. So here's what I came up with. You guys can tail along if you want, or just gather some information and make your own decisions and research some of these picks further. So let's go over to the NBA board over on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is still offering a $50 deposit bonus. When you deposit your first $5 in play, whether you win or lose, they're going to give you $50. Use promo code CJ Curry if you're not already a PrizePicks member. So let's start things off with De'Aaron Fox of the San Antonio Spurs. I like the over on his points and assists at 24.5. They had his points at 18.5, but they just bumped that up. So I'm okay with pivoting over to the 24.5 points and assists. I kind of figured that points wouldn't stay at 18.5 forever. So we'll go over on the 24.5 points plus assists. So taking a look here at Outlier, we got the points and assists pulled up. He came back from a long hiatus and dropped 27 points and assists against the New Orleans Pelicans in his first game. He played a little over 30 and a half minutes. So pretty good debut here for De'Aaron Fox in the San Antonio Spurs. You'll continue to see his minutes kind of increase as well. He's taken on a Chicago Bulls team that he had pretty good success against last season. Played them once. It was January the 12th. Ended up with 29 points plus assists against the Bulls in that game. 26 points and 3 assists to be exact in just over 32 minutes, almost 33 minutes in that game against the Bulls. Now, this was when he was still with the Sacramento Kings, so take this with a grain of salt, but we know that the Chicago Bulls aren't great defensively, especially against opposing point guards. When you take a look at this matchup here, defense versus position, They rank 26th due to the Bulls in points allowed to opposing point guards, about 28 points per game allowed to opposing PGs. On top of that, they're pretty neutral, although more in the favorable category when it comes to assists allowed, almost 9 assists per game allowed to opposing point guards as well. Now, if we take a quick glimpse back at last season, De'Aaron Fox went over 24.5 points plus assists in 74% of the games that he played in. So he had a pretty good success rate. Again, a lot of these games were when he was with the Sacramento Kings. Using Outlier, though, you can look at games when he played with, let's just say, Victor Wembanyama. So that'll give us all the San Antonio Spurs games. He got a total of 7 games played alongside Wemby. In those games, he hit the over in 86% of them. So 6 out of 7 games, he cleared his 24.5 points and assists line. There's only one game he didn't, and that was against the Orlando Magic. So De'Aaron Fox's lines are still pretty soft, still pretty low. And I think we can kind of take advantage of this here in a pretty good matchup against a Bulls team in a game that should stay close and competitive. So liking the over on that one, but let's run some projections as we typically do in these videos. We'll start things off by looking at RotoWire. De'Aaron Fox's projections over on RotoWire are mostly favorable. The points, you could bet the over. If you could still find it at 18.5, I would prefer that over the 19.5. The points and assists is the one we were looking at. The assists on their own at 5.5, also a good look. And then his rebounds and assists are a lean more as well, according to RotoWire. So pretty much anything that kind of involves or includes his points or points and assists looks pretty good here on paper. Popping open his player card, his actual projection of RotoWire's projection for him is 25.66. That's a 1.16 points plus assist differential versus where his line is currently found on PrizePicks at 24.5. So good projection there. We'll go over here to Fantasy Labs and check another projection. Fantasy Labs, one of the most reputable in the business when it comes to player projections. They're not always right, but nobody ever is. But their projection models are often more right than wrong. And on this projection, they have him at 25.5 points plus assists, so 1 PA higher than his line on PrizePicks. Shot quality is another one that I highly recommend. Very similar to Fantasy Labs, but they add a little bit of their own analytical data. And they have De'Aaron Fox at 25.74 points plus assists. We could also check out LineStar. I think LineStar had a projection for Fox. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, they've got him at 24.4 points and assists. So pretty close to the 24.5 line. I think the fact that the majority of the projection models that we looked at have him going over, I would still stick to the over here at 24.5. This one's going to get bumped up to about 25.5 before it's all said and done. So let's get on to pick number 2. I'm looking at New Orleans Pelicans forward Saddiq Bey. And I'm liking Saddiq Bey for a couple different categories. The PRA at 18.5 I think is a good look, but I'm going to stick with the one that he's hit the over on in 3 out of 3 games without Jordan Poole, who's expected to be out once again, and Zion Williamson, who's also expected to be out once again. So that's the 13.5 PA I'm talking about, points plus assists here. He went over this line in his last game despite having a pretty poor shooting night. So if he's able to lift that field goal percentage up a little bit higher and get a couple of assists sprinkled in there, I think he's going to clear 13.5 once again. But let's take a closer look at Saddiq Bey over on Outlier. And if you're interested in getting your hands on Outlier, it's a really great tool. You could do so for a 7-day free trial. There's a link down in the description of today's video. Check out Outlier. Tell them CJ Curry sent you if it asks for any kind of promo code or anything. But anyway, 2025 season for Saddiq Bey, the last 3 games he's gone over. And it's important that I mentioned the last 3 games because those 3 games are games played without Poole and without Zion Williamson. So one thing that's neat about the Outlier tools is you can look at game logs, games played without a specific player. In this case, we could take Jordan Poole out, we could take Zion Williamson out, and we're left with 2 games there. 23 and 14 on his points plus assists. So he's 2 for 2 without Poole and 2 for 2 without Zion. So when they both sit out, not a bad little record there for him. But yeah, he's 3 out of his last 3 going over. So doing a good job here. Head-to-head, nothing to look at head-to-head because he was pretty much out for the entirety of the last season. But matchup-wise on paper, he's kind of the small forward. Herbert Jones is listed as power forward. They're kind of interchangeable. They're both forwards. You know, the NBA is more and more positionless, but I like taking a look at this anyway. Against small forwards, the Phoenix Suns have not been great defensively, giving up about the 24th most points to the small forward position and 26th in assists to the small forward position. So it looks like a pretty favorable matchup on paper. Both of these categories, they rank in the bottom 10. In other words, most giving to the small forward position. So let's look at some projections here for Saddiq Bey, because his projections, they really caught my eye here. He's got some really strong projections, especially when we look at Fantasy Labs and shot quality, which we'll do in just a moment. But starting things off here at RotoWire. RotoWire's got Saddiq Bey at 13.5 points and assists. That is the #1 lean more option for Bey. So we pop open his player card here. He's projected for 15.28 points plus assists. That's a 1.78 PA difference. Again, I'm not mad at you. If you want to pivot over to the points, rebounds, and assists, I don't hate that, because his rebound chances have seen a little bit of a bump here without Zion in the lineup, without Poole in the lineup, with Yves Missy expected to be in and out of the lineup. He's questionable to play. You get Kevon Looney starting. You know, maybe Saddiq Bey runs into some more rebound chances, rebound opportunities, but I'm going to stick with the PA for this one just because it's been something that he keeps doing even when he's not shooting his best. But taking a look at another projection, this one's going to be Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs has Saddiq Bey at well, they don't have his points plus assists up here. Let's look at the points, rebounds, and assists. They have his PRA at 21.1 on a line of 18.5. So I think that there's an opportunity there if you wanted to take the PRA. Shot quality should have the projection up for Bey on his PA. And they do. He's at 17.25 points plus assists. So very good projection on a line of just 13.5 right now. And then the PRA is at 21.76. So more than a 3 PRA differential. Taking a look at LineStar's projection for Bey. LineStar, another premium or paid tool. They've got Bey going over the points and assists, but slightly under on the points, rebounds, and assists at 18.2. So 14.1 on the PA, 18.2 on the PRA. So I like Bey for over 13.5 points plus assists, but if it gets bumped, which it probably will, feel free to pivot over to the points, rebounds, and assists. Moving on to pick number 3, we're going to stick with this New Orleans and Phoenix game, and I'm looking at Ryan Dunn, forward for the Phoenix Suns, and I'm liking the over on his points, rebounds, and assists here, but you could, again, go points and assists if you prefer. I think both of these look really good, and he's got some really strong projections right now over on a couple of these player projection models. But let's take a look at Ryan Dunn and assess the situation a little further. Important to note, Jalen Green is out. So no Jalen Green for the Phoenix Suns. Came back, guns a-blazing. He was shooting the ball up, getting a ton of shots, and then unfortunately re-aggravated his hamstring, which is why he didn't start the season right away with the Phoenix Suns. So he's back on the shelf. Dillon Brooks is expected to be back, though. So what you can do, again, with outliers, pretty cool here. You can do a number of things. First and foremost, I want to show you how good Ryan Dunn tends to be when he plays at home. All right, so 2025 season is selected. Let's look at his home games. 60% hit rate on this prop overall, but at home, 100% hit rate. He has yet to miss this prop when playing at Phoenix, and that's where he's going to be. He's going to be playing at home in this game. So he's had 22, 18, 25, 23, and 18 points, rebounds, and assists this season, playing in front of those loyal Suns fans. Let's go back to looking at the all-game view, and we'll look at games when he's played without Jalen Green. And in those games, he's got a 63% hit rate, 5 of 8, averaging a healthy 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists per game in those games without Green. And I mentioned Dillon Brooks, who's been in and out of the mix. He is going to be back. So we've got Dillon Brooks in games without Jalen Green, and we're left with these 3 games. Kind of a small sample, but still, you can see Dunn is over in 2 out of 3 games. And both of the games that he went over, again, were home games. The only game that he missed was this one against the Clippers, 6 points, 5 rebounds, and the Phoenix Suns got mollywopped. I mean, it was 129 for the Clippers, 102 for the Suns, so it was an absolute blowout. As you can see, Ryan Dunn did not play his full allotment of minutes, only 16.8 minutes in that game. So I'm not too worried about that. That is a blowout. Those do happen, and if that does happen again here tonight, which I don't think it will because they're playing against the New Orleans Pelicans. If anyone's going to be doing the blowing out here, it's going to be the Suns to the Pelicans. But anyway, he should get 20 plus minutes in this game, in this matchup. I don't think Phoenix is going to blow out New Orleans by 27 points like the Clippers blew out Phoenix by 27 points is what I'm saying. But anyway, looks pretty good here at 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists. To the projections we go. Looking at the first one, which is RotoWire. Once again, loving some Ryan Dunn is RotoWire. They've got him over for his 7.5 points, over for his 9.5 points and assists, over for his 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists, over for his 12.5 points plus rebounds. So pretty much anything that involves his points here is a really good look. Ryan Dunn been pretty solid for Phoenix this season. But for the sake of this video, we're looking at the points, rebounds, and assists, but feel free to take one of these other options if and when this gets bumped up from 13.5 to something like maybe 14.5, because it's looking like it's going to go that direction. And the reason I say that is he is projected for 18.73 points, rebounds, and assists. That is a 5.23 PRA differential. That's massive, gang. 5.23 PRA different than his line. Yeah, this is not going to stay at 13.5. There's no way that they can do that without bumping this up. Projection number 2, Fantasy Labs. They've got Ryan Dunn sitting at 17.4. Another massive projection for Ryan Dunn. His line's 13.5. The projection is almost 4 PRA higher. Shot quality, they've got Ryan Dunn all the way up at 17.23 PRA. So another very favorable projection. Line Stars got Ryan Dunn all the way up at 15.5 PRA. So that's still 2 PRA higher. So at the very minimum, these projection models are 2 points, rebounds, and assists higher, but you're seeing it as high as, 4, 5 PRA in some of these models. So Ryan Dunn will get the bump treatment. I'm almost certain of it. The other thing I'm certain of is that I love you. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Again, if you like what I'm doing here, let me know you like it by hitting the like button on your way out. And if you're inside of Dub Club and Discord, there will be NBA picks, there will be Monday Night Football picks, there will be NHL picks, and I'm sure there will be some other picks that I'm forgetting about. But we'll see you on the inside. Catch you there. Peace.